The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Napick. Thank you for joining us again. As always, don't forget to go to stewart.com/radio. That's where you can hear this show again and see the guests as we make YouTube videos of each show. You can see all the other shows right there at stewart.com/radio. Service. I've been thinking about service, and as consumers, we all have an opinion on service. We rate service, whether it's a big purchase, little purchase. There's good service, bad service, horrible service. And once in a while, we have our expectations exceeded, and that's a great thing. So if you're in the service business, you have contact with customers on the phone or otherwise, I encourage you to exceed those expectations. Earlier this week, my expectations were exceeded, surprisingly so, as I was going to buy simple plumbing components at one of the big box hardware stores like Lowe's, and I was just buying these simple things, and I got to tell you, I had a tremendous experience right there at the Lowe's south of I-10 near Fry Road. As I met the district manager, I had no idea he was the manager, but he helped me with simple plumbing components in a way. His name is Patrick Johnson. He helped me in a way that I went back the next day and brought boxes of donuts for the people that helped me right there at Lowe's. So the point being, even if you're selling something simple, you can exceed expectations and have people talk about you even on the radio. Thank you, Patrick Johnson. Patrick Johnson, Kathy, and the team that helped me with my purchase. Thanks for exceeding my expectations. Speaking of super service, we have the Brandi Brantner Team. She is here with her team, known for excelling in service with her buyers and sellers on a regular basis. So let's welcome, as Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title begins right now, Brandi Brantner. Brandi, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
Exceeding expectations. It's always nice when that happens as consumers, and as you do that with your clients on a regular basis, it is a tremendous feeling as well.
Absolutely. We work really hard to exceed those expectations every single time.
Let's tell people where you're located and how you approach your real estate market.
Sure. So we are with RE/MAX Integrity in Spring, Texas, and we not only work in Spring, but all the surrounding areas as well. So we go as far north as Willis. We've even sold in Huntsville, also work down in the Houston area, and then from Humble all the way over to Cypress area.
So let's say people are hearing the show at the time of broadcast. Many Houstonians are tuning in, perhaps millions, I'm not sure. I'm not that good at math, Brandi, but just saying, if they're listening from outside of the Houston area and someone doesn't know this area of Houston, we're talking about Spring, even Willis, let's kind of paint a picture in case someone's listening on the internet.
So we go up from Houston. If you know where Houston's at, we're going to go up north all the way. I don't even know how many miles that would be, but we're going to go up 45 north and then east to west now that we have 99 there. And we're going to cover all those areas, outlining those
So
areas.
if someone's out there in Annapolis, Maryland, let's say they're tuning in, Houston is a big spread out city.
It is
Most people
very
know
big.
that. And we're talking about kind of the north, wouldn't we say the northwest of this
Absolutely.
pie that is Houston?
Absolutely, yes.
And in fact, 99, for those listening, it's been a tremendous boom for the real estate markets, especially on that west part of town. That's incredible, that 99.
It is. It has allowed people to be able to commute in and out of the city very quickly so they can get that lifestyle outside of the busy areas, but be able to get into work quickly. So we really are excited to have that there.
And that's one of the things we're going to talk about with you and the team is that it seems like real estate is booming everywhere, and not just in Houston, but in the Houston area. people seem to be going to the outer areas that we'll call Spring, Willis, the Woodlands, and these places like that. Let's tell people why you think that's going on. They're coming out to your area in droves.
Absolutely, yes. We're seeing more and more buyers who want a little bit more space, and they're looking for that bigger yard. Even unrestricted land, it is hard to come by, but we can find it for you. People want to have their chickens and be able to be out and do their own thing. So we are seeing more and more buyers wanting to move outside of the city and get further out. Also, if you get out to Magnolia, Montgomery County, the tax rate is lower, and that's really appealing to people because their dollars go further.
So that's a nice thing. Because one of the things about Houston, while it's a tremendous thing that we don't have state income tax like Annapolis, Maryland, and most of the other states, we do have some high property taxes, especially, relatively speaking, especially in Houston and maybe even Katy and so forth. So you're saying there's relief from that, or a little lesser degree in Magnolia?
Absolutely. Montgomery County definitely has the lower property taxes there, and it can really change that monthly payment when you're factoring that in.
It is huge. In fact, I may be talking to you after the show because you know what? Taxes, as we think about our overall financial picture for a family or individual, taxes play a gigantic role. And sometimes people forget that the realtor can be one of your trusted partners in helping you keep some of your money.
Absolutely. And when we're working with first-time home buyers, our thing is to really educate our buyers. And we work very closely with the lenders that we recommend, with our title companies. We want to make sure that our buyers are very informed before they get to the closing table. That they know what those numbers are going to be and that they are comfortable with those numbers. And so we believe education is very important when it comes to making a purchase as big as buying a home.
Give us an idea, as we say, you're the Brandi Brantner Team. Why you took the team approach, and also give us an idea of some of the philosophy that you bring with your team for your buyers and sellers as you serve them in a magnificent way 24/7.
Yes, so I started this team about a year ago. I've been in real estate for 5 years and realized that even though I feel like I can do it all, I cannot. And so we decided to go ahead and start this team. Kitty, you're going to meet her in a moment. She made the phone call, said she was going to get her license, and so we just decided, let's do this. And it has been a phenomenal experience. We are able to step in and help each other, the four of us, whenever we need help. We all have families, and we do believe that our families are very important, and we want to be there for our families. So by having a team, one of us is always able to be there for our clients. We don't feel like we have to, it's not a give and take. We're able to give what our clients need 100% of the time.
So you have to have the right people in place. And one of the things I'm saving for people is that not only do you have your team here, you have the complete team. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, there are 4 of us total. We're really excited. We've got Carla, Lulu, and Kitty. And so we work really hard. We want to work together, and we want to make sure that our clients are taken care of from the minute they decide they might be interested in purchasing a home or selling a home until the closing and beyond.
Well, give us an idea of some of the considerations right now. The market's hot. As far as a buyer goes right now, how are you recommending buyers? How should they prepare? Or how do you begin if I called you up and said, Brandi, I want to buy a house in Magnolia? How does the process work?
So we have a buyer consultation form. We'll usually invite you out for coffee and sit down and just have a good conversation together. We want to get to know your family. Do you have children that play sports? If you do, is that important on where you end up? Or is the schools important, academics? We want to point our buyers to the right areas. Maybe your child's in FFA and they want to have a place to be able to raise an animal. That's something we need to think about.
Big consideration,
yeah.
Right?
And so the first meeting we have with our buyers is just to get to know them, to get to know their needs, their personalities. We can tell a lot about a person just through that meeting. We'll take good notes, and then we go from there. If they want a time commute from a certain place, like their place of business, then we take that into consideration, and then we go back and we start to get to work. That's where we figure out what area we're going to be pointing them into to best meet their needs. We also set them up with lenders at that time, all those kinds of things.
And also, speaking of title companies, too,
yes,
I want to thank Lynn Riddle, our business development person, for bringing the complete team in here. She's pretty awesome over there at Stewart Title.
She is. She takes great care of us, and we really love working with Stewart Title.
Well, we're glad to hear that. Also, as far as the market conditions right now, let's go back to that buyer scenario. I'm the buyer, and I'm saying, Brandi, I'm hearing the market's really hot. What do I have to do? Or my wife and I were worried about being able to find the house without paying too much. Is there hope? Because I think a lot of people that don't buy on a regular basis, maybe every 7 years, plus you're helping first-time buyers.
Right.
Some of them are scared right on the approach.
Absolutely. Well, we just tell them, just stick with us. We will find them a house. Sometimes we might not win on that first or second offer, but we are creative. We're going to talk to those listing agents. We're going to ask them, sometimes a seller needs a lease back. And if that's something we can offer, then that can help you win those deals. And so we're always trying to be creative, find ways that we can help make the transaction happen. We believe that if a door closes, then we're on to the next one, and we're going to help you find another home after that if it doesn't work out.
What about the flip side? If I'm the seller and I say, Brandi, man, I'm hearing the market's hot. Surely I could get a whole lot of money from my home. How do we counsel that seller?
Absolutely. We are hearing that all over the place right now. So we are counseling by the key is pricing a home correctly. If we price a home correctly, we're going to be in a multiple offer situation. And so we want to make sure that we're not coming in and asking an astronomical number just because the market's hot right now. We still want to price correctly. We want to run comps. And if we do that, most of the time, we're going to move that home pretty quickly. Average days on the market are about 18 days right now. The homes were moving a little bit faster during the summer, but we're still in that seller's market where things are still moving quickly.
What do you think is going to happen as we're near approaching the last quarter of the year? We're in the last quarter of the year. Right. What am I talking about? When people hear this show, it is the last quarter.
Right.
How's it going to wind out in your speculation?
I think it's going to continue just the way it is. We still do not have a very high inventory of homes. There's more buyers than there are sellers out there. And so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is a great time. Home values have increased a lot over the last year. Even if you just want to have that consultation of what could my home be worth, we are more than happy to have that consultation with you, run some numbers, and just have a conversation. That's how it all starts. And if it's not the right time for you, then we're here when it is. Information
is always key. You have a lot of information. You and the real estate community that you're in, that's your business, information and helping buyers and sellers.
Absolutely, yes. And that is the key. We want to keep people informed. And we believe that if you don't become our client now, that if we help you out along the process, we will work together down the road. And so we are here to do those kinds of things. We're here to answer questions. If we can't answer your question, we can point you in the right direction. And so whether that is contacting Lynn over at Stewart Title or someone to help with your property taxes, we're here to help point people in the right direction.
Yeah, we're talking with Brandi Brantner with the Brantner Team and RE/MAX Integrity. Brandi, of all the things you could be doing, here you are in the real estate profession for many years. Give us an idea how you became a realtor.
So before I started real estate, I was a kindergarten teacher in Klein ISD. Absolutely loved my days there. But as our family grew, I realized that I needed a change to be able to devote more time to my children. And so jumped and got my license, and it has just been a true blessing to our family. I'm really blessed. My husband's a firefighter for the city of Houston, and so he's my biggest cheerleader, is there to help with the kids, and it's been great. So about 3 years into that is when we started the team, and here we are. We're having our best year yet.
And if he's listening, and any other firefighter, policeman, or serving in the military, or those serving in the military, we thank them for their service 1,000-fold, because we couldn't have a country without these people every day helping us.
That's right. That's right. They are very dear to our hearts, and so we really appreciate all that those service members do for us.
And not only that, when I think about firefighters across the country, our heat and humidity here, and then they suit up, and same with policemen, and they suit up to go fight and be on stand for us. Yep. That's an extra thing, because it gets hot and humid.
Absolutely. It sure does.
Especially if you're going into a fire. Brandi, before we close this segment out, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing?
Just that we're here. That's our biggest thing, is that we just want to be available to help people in any way we can. There's no better experience for us than getting to help a first-time home buyer or someone who's lived in their home for 20 years and have so many memories, and it's hard to let go, but to help them move on to that next chapter in life, whether that's downsizing or upsizing, or maybe they're having to relocate. We're here to make that process as smooth and easy as possible.
And your husband's name is?
Michael Brantner.
Michael, thanks for your service. Brandi, let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
Sure. Best way is by phone, 832-726-8888. 800-878-8041 or by email listwithbrandi@gmail.com.
That's an actual email people can remember. listwithbrandi@gmail.com. You can call Brandi at 832-726-8041. Thanks, Brandi, for being on the show and for bringing the team. We're going to meet them right now. Let's meet the team. First, we're going to meet Carla Brantner. Carla, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
So here we are. You're on the Brantner team. Even your last name is Brantner. Let's tell people just a little bit about that, how you're in the family, so to speak.
Well, I rushed on the team as quick as I could. I watched Brandi for a few years. She's my sister-in-law. We married brothers. So we've been official family for 15 years. But before that, we grew up as childhood friends.
Isn't that interesting? And all in the Spring area?
Yes, sir.
Holy smokes. So you guys know, the team knows, in fact, a lot about the Spring area. Thus, you're able to help the buyers and sellers in a tremendous way.
Yes, sir. Hometown, live there, work there, community, everything possible. Kids go to school there.
Probably
So-
know the sheriff, too.
Maybe.
Well, okay. Well, just saying. In the meantime, let's tell people, let's round it out a little bit more about the marketplace in the Spring, Texas area. How is it right now from your perspective?
From my perspective, it's still very hot, especially anything under 300,000. For lack of better words, it's flying off the shelves. Brandi mentioned the average day on market is about 18 days, but if you've got something under 300,000, I personally have seen my buyers in a bidding war with about 17 to 30 other clients on homes under 300,000. So those are moving much more quickly. I would say anything with a little bit more value, it is. You're seeing a little bit closer to that average time days on market.
Now, just a word on that one. There are that many offers. The work for both realtors involved, the work accelerates, and you have to be very precise as to how you help your seller and or buyer in this case, because it's high stakes and you have a lot of things moving around there with 17 offers, right?
Yes, we try our best to protect our clients as best as we can. There's a lot of terms inside that residential contract that we're trying to advise them of. And even if, a client does not want to go X amount of dollars over the asking price, there's other ways to negotiate terms within the contract to help make their offer stronger. So we're trying our best to get creative, ethically, of course, within terms of the contract to make their offer more appealing to those sellers. Of course, on the selling side, we're trying our best to advise them of, okay, well, these are the offers that came in, and here's what it really means, and we're going to break it down as best as possible to advise you of such.
Your office is actually in Spring, Texas, and how far is that from Magnolia?
I would say...
Is it the next town? I forget.
It's the next town. I would say maybe a 10, 15-minute drive, but it's a pretty drive, so you don't mind it at all. Beautiful land.
Okay, so let's take that Magnolia. If somehow I'm fixed on that tax rate, but let's say Magnolia. Someone said to you, Carla, I'm looking for a home that's $350 in Magnolia. What am I going to find? Give us an idea what can be had for $350 thereabouts.
I would say it might be considerably smaller because in Magnolia you have a little bit more room to breathe. You have a little bit more acreage, a little bit more lots that you're living on out there as a norm. Now, you're still going to see the suburbia, the residential neighborhoods per se, but overall it's a little bit more rural area with a little bit more spread out in between homes. So your home may not be as big as if you moved into the Spring area where the homes are a little bit closer together.
And that sounds good. If someone's looking for a little more space, then Magnolia might provide that for them. And again, taking that price point, $350, or we might even up it to $400. At this point in time, as we speak, what kind of selection is there, if any? I mean, what are we going to be able to? I call you up, hey, Carla, I got $400,000. And I want to look at a couple homes in Magnolia. Are we going to be able to see something out there?
I do think you would be able to see something. It might be finding that purple unicorn in a way. You may not have as big of a selection out in Magnolia as you would in other areas. But yes, you can definitely find a beautiful home that meets your needs out in that area.
What about in Spring? Easier or that's a little tougher?
I would say in Spring you'd have a much bigger selection in the $400,000 range. You might find a home, with about an acre out there. It might, of course, be a little bit smaller home, but if you go into the more residential neighborhoods, I would say you could find a home around 3,000 square feet. your yard would still be a pretty decent size at that amount of money, you would definitely be able to find a beautiful home for that price
Well, it's
point.
interesting because we talked about earlier, there are a lot of people that are wanting to go where there's a little bit more room. And those people aren't just coming from Houston, they're coming from all over the country, right?
Right, exactly. We've seen a major influx of out-of-state buyers in the last year. We've seen people have the luxury of working from home, so it broadens their horizons of what they're able to choose and pick from in the housing market. And their list of wants has grown because of that, which in turn, of course, the list of needs grows in turn as well.
Where do you see these people coming from when they're coming from out of state?
Stereotypically, people think California because we've
you
had a
said
big
it.
influx. But personally, in our team, we've seen Wyoming, West Virginia, Michigan, Oklahoma. People love Texas. They're all flocking here.
Yeah, so you're seeing people from Wyoming too?
Yes,
How
Wyoming.
about that? 'Cause,
You name it, they're coming here. So
And they're finding the team, the Brantner team, the Brandi Brantner team.
yes, sir.
That is awesome. So you guys are doing some tremendous work. Give us an idea as far as the technology, some of the things that if I'm listing my home that as far as what you do personally and even the team, as far as technology, what are some of the things you may be doing in technology that maybe you didn't do 3 years ago?
We're trying our best to stay up with the times. Technology is always changing, but we offer our clients state-of-the-art pictures that paint their house beautifully, puts the best foot forward. We are marketing it on social media platforms. We are offering, at least for our buyers especially, we're offering virtual walkthroughs of homes. Of course, it's best to always see a home in person. But unfortunately, nobody can just fly in at the drop of the hat. Sometimes it takes coordinating travel schedules. So if someone is unable to be here, we try our best to create a virtual walkthrough. And we point out certain things inside the home that if they were present, they would notice themselves. So we try our best to make the process of buying or selling a home as easy as possible.
How do you stay organized?
With a lot of coffee and a great team. We are always available to bounce ideas back and forth off of each other to provide advice and support to keep the wheels turning. If for some reason I'm unable to make an appointment for whatever reason, an emergency pops up or life just happens, I know I've got 3 comrades that I can call in at the drop of a hat and they're available to help me out. I keep my calendar well organized and I live off the notifications.
I could tell you're a very organized person. I'm just guessing. And in fact, you have several children, right?
I do. I have 4 children.
Right there. There's a management thing. If you're able to manage 4 children, that is unbelievable. Real estate has to be easy after that.
Thank you. Well, like Brandi said, I negotiate a lot with 4 children, so I feel like I'm a master negotiator at this point. I feel like I can communicate well on various levels. You know, I can communicate well with a 6-year-old. Hopefully I can communicate with a 14-year-old pretty well, and that will only go to translate well to communicating with adults.
And of all the things you could be doing in life, why real estate?
I think it's a privilege and an honor to be invited into someone's story for a short amount of time. We get to dream their dreams with them. We get to walk with them in this very important, monumental point in their life, and it's really special. And to hold kind of that expertise and get to advise them of such and just be there for them every step of the way, not only before, during, and after, it's pretty special. Please give me a call. I would love to be there with you, walk you through this transaction. My number is 281-813-5590, or if you prefer emailing, I'm buyandsellwithcarla@gmail.com.
Sounds like you said 281-813-5590.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Carla Brantner.
Thank you so much.
And the team members keep rolling on. In fact, on the Brandi Brantner team, we have Lulu Garcia. Hey, Lulu, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to see you here today. Let's tell people you are on the team. Give us an idea of some of the things you're doing on the team right there in beautiful Spring, Texas, and even beyond.
Well, we are a team out of the RE/MAX Integrity office in Spring, Texas. My role in the team is I help buyers if they want to buy a house in the North Houston area or anywhere really in Houston. And I also work with sellers who want to list their homes, obviously, to put on the market, and also renters, anyone looking to lease. So we do it all.
No, that's a good point. We don't talk that much about the leasing on the show, but I guess from time to time someone's going to reach out and say, Lulu, I don't want to buy anything right now, but I may want to lease something. You're helping people like that.
Absolutely.
What's the market like for leasing? Let's say you're leasing homes. So let's say I want to lease a 2,500 square foot home or so. What's that adventure look like?
Well, depending on what area, it all depends on the area, but lease prices have increased, I would say, within the last year. So for a 2,500 square foot home, roughly speaking, you're looking at about maybe 1,800, depending, 2,000. It just varies.
Give or take, right?
Give or take, right. So,
well, that's a good point, because not everybody knows they're going to live here for a certain period of time, and there's all sorts of reasons to lease, but you're there to help in the event that they are. In addition, I hear you're also helping some new first-time home buyers with buying that first home.
Yes, and so that's very rewarding to help first-time home buyers. And I pride myself because I'm the only one in our team that speaks Spanish, so I'm able to help our Spanish community who sometimes needs a little bit more help, right? A lot of the Spanish community, they have never bought a home before. So it's really rewarding to kind of walk them through the process in their language, right? Spanish. And I also speak English, as you can tell. And so I don't always...
And you have a beautiful voice, by the way. Let me say that.
Thank you. It's not really my voice right now. But
it's not? Who am I talking to? Sounds pretty good to me. It sounds like you.
It's me, but I'm a little bit hoarse today.
And I've known you all of about 30 minutes, too, so I'm an expert on that.
All right.
But in the meantime, let's go back to the selling, that
Sure.
first-time home buyer,
yes,
remember?
we're over there.
So we're going back to that first-time home buyer, because no matter if someone's bought 20 properties, they're an investor, whatever age they are, there was that first home. And I could remember my first home when I bought it, and there was an extra excitement because that was my first home.
Absolutely. That's super, super exciting for anyone who has never owned a home. There's different opportunities, I would say, pros to owning a home versus renting or renting an apartment, things like that. So it's definitely exciting to walk through with someone during that whole process from start to finish.
And when the process is finished, everyone's at the title company for this, just taking that first home buyer, family, or individual. Give us an idea what someone might say a couple weeks later or a month later about how happy they are about the purchase. I don't have to rent anymore. I have something I don't want to put the words in your mouth, but what do you hear along those lines? Because it is exciting.
It is exciting because they never thought in a million years that they could be in a home, that they could call themselves the owner. I own my home. So it's really, really neat. They have more space. A lot of them were in small apartment quarters and, they have children and so they needed more space. They have pets and so now they have a yard, a really nice community.
Some cases they may not have had a garage.
Correct. Yes, no garage. And so now they're able to store their personal belongings in their own garage. So that's really a good.
That's a big thing. In fact, I'm going to tell you a phenomenon. Those that have not had garages, even people that moved from a condo that didn't have a garage, those that have not had garages, I'm going to guess in 6 months the garage they now have is going to be totally full with stuff that just came out of who knows where. That happened to me when I moved from a condo once.
You're like, what? Where'd all this come from?
Where did it all come from?
But yes, it's a perk to owning a home, definitely.
Now, in the meantime, you're helping people that have purchased many times over as well. So let's tell people a little bit about what people are looking for now. What are some of the trends you may be seeing, things like that?
They're looking for more space. I think if you're coming from the city, you're definitely looking for more space. And a lot of people are looking to move to Montgomery County for the taxes, a lower tax rate, more space. They have great schools. And so there's just so many different reasons why someone would want to move from the city to Montgomery County.
Well, that's a good point. You mentioned the schools. We haven't talked about that yet, but I'm assuming the schools are pretty good out there. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, absolutely. And even Harris County North, Klein ISD has great, excellent schools. So I'm not just talking about Montgomery County, but just North Houston in general has excellent schools.
and of all the things you could be doing, somewhere along the line you chose real estate as your profession. How's it going for you, and why did you choose real estate?
It is absolutely great. There's so many opportunities in real estate. Every transaction is different. I chose real estate just because I had a huge interest in it, and it's been going great.
You know, it's interesting when you say you've a huge interest in real estate. I think real estate has the ability, even at early ages in our lives, to pull us in because we like the idea of homes, of ownership. I mean, even when I was a little kid many decades ago, looking at that Sunday newspaper and being captivated, like, wow, look at that home. Look at this. I think that's still happening, maybe in different ways today, like with some of the TV shows, even radio shows. People are pulled into the real estate as an interest, and then some of us are actually in the profession.
Absolutely. Yes, there's so many different shows now that really do pull your interest. You know, HGTV is one of them. And so there's also different platforms like Zillow, you know, HAR. A lot of people have them on their phone just because they're not even looking. But then sometimes it does spark their interest, and then they do want to sell, or they do want to buy. So that's another.
You're exactly right. That HAR application, HAR, those listening, you can go to HAR.com if you're out of the state and you want to tune in to see what's going on real estate-wise. But sometimes on my phone, Lulu, I'm in an area of town I might not be familiar with, and I might kill a few minutes. I'll go to that HAR app and press the button that says homes available for sale near you, which I'm right there, and all these homes pop up instantly. Within a few minutes, I learn a little bit about that area, and you see the pricing, the pictures of the home. It's fascinating what's at our fingertips today.
Absolutely.
What else do you want people to know, Lulu Garcia?
Yes. So we are here for you. The Brandi Brantner team is here. Me, myself, Lulu, and Carla.
You're Lulu, right?
I am Lulu,
Okay.
yes. Kitty, Carla, and Brandi. We're here to help in all of your real estate needs. Even if you just have a question, we are here to help you, whether it be, you know, if you rent, buy, or sell, we are here for you.
And how can people reach you?
My number is 281-685-0859, and my email is buyandsellwithlulu, Lulu, @gmail.com.
You can call Lulu at 281-685-0859. And years ago, only very old people would know this, but there was a singer. Her name was Lulu. Did you know that?
No, I
I'm
did
going
not know
back to the 60s or 70s. That's right. Lulu, and she sang a famous song. In the meantime, Lulu, your phone number one more time is?
281-685-0859.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we continue on. That's right. We continue on with the team. We're now going to talk to Kitty Crosby right there on the Brandi Brantner team. Kitty, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Here you are. We're talking real estate. It's super fun. Here you are. You're on the team. Let's give people an idea. You, Kitty Crosby, what you're doing on the Brandi Brantner team.
I'm a listing agent and a buyer's agent, so I represent both sides, and I'll also help with anyone that's looking for a lease if they're not ready to buy just yet.
So, and how often? Does that happen a lot, Kitty?
No, I've had a lot more buyers, first-time home buyers, than I have had people wanting leases. And sometimes once they start looking and they realize maybe that they could buy instead of, it'd be much cheaper in the long run. They could paint their rooms instead of having to get permission per se. There's just so much more benefits owning a home than leasing. So,
well, in fact, you may or may not know this, and the listeners may or may not know this, and that is I do a lot of research on all the guests that come up. And one of the things I've heard about you is that in your first year of real estate, you had 16 real estate transactions. Is that about right?
yes, sir, that's right.
16?
Yes.
So let's say there's someone out there right now that's thinking about real estate or just started. How did you do that? Because each real estate transaction can be challenging, and they take a while.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were so successful?
I got leads that my clients are not just my clients. From the first time I meet them, they become my friends. So I'm very dedicated to each and every client that I have. So and I don't give up. If we're looking for lots, I had a couple that were desperate to find a lot in Saddle Creek and Waller. And we put in numerous offers and we kept getting outbid. And it was just, I knew they were frustrated, but I was more frustrated because I wanted to find them something desperately. So I just work very hard, and I'm stubborn. I don't give up on looking for what my client wants.
That is a tremendous attribute. Not giving up in life in every category, in every part of life.
Right.
That's very important.
Yes. I'm just too stubborn.
Well, there you go. I think that could be your motto, the stubborn realtor here to help, making my stubbornness work for you.
That'll work.
Is that all right? I mean, you and me, the royalties on that, right?
Right, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
That sounds good. So in the meantime, that's right. You can't give up in life, and especially real estate, because it's not easy. Usually I hear realtors say that first transaction, unless someone gets lucky or had something in the pipeline, but to wind it up to get that first thing happening, and then many times it goes from there.
Yes, it was difficult, and my first few were challenging. It took a while to close, and there were hiccups along the way. And I know in some jobs, people all of a sudden just get, you get upset and you just don't want to do it anymore. But I love my job, and I don't see it really as a job. The hiccup, I mean, it just makes it a challenge. So I just find it all to be challenging as well.
Well, we're talking only a few minutes, and there's success principle number 2. I don't look at it as a job. You're doing what you love.
Right.
Therefore, you're able to help people in a better way, and it's better for you as well.
Exactly. Yes.
That's
yes.
awesome. We can just stop the show right now. Those are words of wisdom, no doubt. Well, how are you finding the market right now? And let's remind people, you're in the Spring, Magnolia area, and that whole zone out there in Northwest Houston, pretty much. Is that correct?
Yes, I live actually in Montgomery. So they're building new neighborhoods right by me. So the market's still going really well. It's still a seller's market. You got to still kind of outbid or go above the asking price. But
Well, I'm hearing in some areas, I don't know if it's your areas, but there are some home developments going on and home building companies that have purchased big portions of land, and some of them are already putting homes on the ground and beginning. And I don't know, is that happening out by you?
Yes. So I live in Montgomery. My son goes to Magnolia West High School, and right by Magnolia West is a new development that's happening. We also live, like I said, in Montgomery, but across the street from our neighborhood, they have put in a 668-acre new subdivision that will be going in.
I wonder how many homes you think will be in that.
I'm not quite sure.
660-some acres?
668 acres is across
Wow.
the street from my neighborhood, yes.
That's going to be interesting to turn the clock ahead a few years, huh?
Very interesting. We're already kind of dreading the blow up of, the road that we're on because we're in the country. We all have acres that we lived on.
We're in the country.
Well, exactly.
A
Yeah,
couple
that's
years
how.
from now, we'll be saying that. Hey, honey, remember when this was the country?
Right, exactly. We don't have streetlights in our neighborhood, so I'm hoping they don't have streetlights either, that they keep it more country.
That sounds like very interesting. But it is, I've lived in Houston quite a while, and just any part of the city, near, far from the very center of the city, it is fascinating just to see the changes happening before our eyes in short order. Maybe like no other city. I don't know what it's like in other places. It is incredible.
It's amazing. I mean, it's nice. And you have people coming from other states, because they do love the state of Texas. I've had couples come from Wyoming and California. My California couple actually never got to see the home until we closed on it. I actually did a video walkthrough with them several times. And then I was there for the inspections. So even if you're out of state, we're there with you, the whole team, through the whole process. And like I said, and beyond,
In the meantime, here are some people that came from couple thousand miles away, relied on your expertise and your being able to describe, without them being there, the home in the things that look great and the things that maybe were not so great.
Right.
That is incredible. When they finally saw the home, what were those moments like? I would love to have been there.
I was very stressed because I was praying that my videos were just what they expected it to be,
Right.
Because some pictures can be very deceiving. You can see some of the homes and just be amazed by the photos. And then you walk in and you're like, what happened? Where did the pictures go? And others, it could be the pictures could have been much better because the home is fabulous. It was nerve-wracking. I was terrified that they would have been like, this is so not what we pictured or what you sent us. This is the opposite of what we wanted. But they loved it. They were in love. So.
Well, what a great relief all the way around, because I bet they were stressed as well, thinking,
Yes.
oh, honey, we just spent this much on the home and we did our best to check it out. Kitty was right there on the job, but until you saw it, and so everybody was happy.
Everybody was happy. Yep. And they had, I think, 4 or
that's
5 kids so all the children were happy. I went and saw them a few months after they moved in, and everybody was extremely happy to be here. And
Well, that is a super story.
Yep.
All the way from California. And now they're in Texas. No state income tax, by the way. You can remind them. That's one of the selling features.
yeah,
So, and they're in Montgomery?
they are actually in Spring.
So in Spring. So Spring is not Montgomery County.
No, Spring is Harris County.
So then it becomes Montgomery County when you go to Magnolia.
Magnolia and Conroe.
What's the next town? Just curious if you know this. When you look at the map, you have Magnolia. What's the next one further out?
There's Plantersville, there's Trinity, there's Huntsville, there's Willis, Cleveland. I'm kind of going back and forth from 249.
But those now we're getting further out, and
Yes.
Huntsville is also a lot of activity there, I'm hearing.
Yes, I have clients that have lived in an apartment for 6 years, and they wanted a home, so they are actually building a home in Huntsville. So they just got their frame started.
Well, I'm kind of familiar with Huntsville. Certain areas, it's beautiful. There's so many trees. It's not far. The Sam Houston National Forest, by the
Yes.
way, if you've seen that, those of you that haven't, go up there and get off on exit 112, take a right, go west, and you're in the forest, and it's a very nice environment.
It's gorgeous out there. And where my clients are, I drove by the home to see how it was progressing, and it's a beautiful, beautiful drive. And they're very excited. So
Very interesting. And, of course, we're not mentioning names here, but just out of curiosity, since they came from California, did they pay cash?
actually, no, they financed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting, because a lot of times we hear about people in California cashing in because the homes are so high,
Right.
and then they come here with bags of cash.
Right. No, mine didn't. They financed.
Or sometimes they have the bags of cash, they just want to get the low interest rate.
Exactly. Maybe save it for that new furniture that they're going to get.
Every
to flip the home.
transaction is different, right, Kitty?
Yes, every transaction is different. You can reach me at 281-414-7858, and my email is listwithkitty, that's KITTY, @gmail.com, and I would love to help you with all of your real estate needs.
Even if they're coming from California.
Anywhere. It doesn't
Wyoming.
matter. Wyoming, California, New York, Pennsylvania, it don't matter.
There are so many great states in this United States, and one of them is Wyoming, Maryland. I mean, our United States is fascinating. There's some great places. You ever
Yes.
been to Wyoming?
No, I'm from Pennsylvania, but I've
What
been
city?
back. Altoona.
There you go. I'm from Harrisburg.
Oh.
Well, actually, I'm across the river in Camp Hill.
Oh, so almost neighbors.
Not that far away.
Although I've been here since I was 5, so.
Interesting. Do you ever hear of a town called Shamokin? That is the coal region, and I was born in that little town right there behind a big, massive coal hill.
Wow. Yes, I
Many
have
years
heard
ago,
of it.
yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Go
Awesome.
Pennsylvania. But they have the state income tax. I'm not
Yes.
going back anytime
No.
soon. Kitty Crosby, let's tell them your phone number one more time.
281-414-7858.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I say it all the time. Stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer. That's right. Lynn Riddle is here. She brought the Brandi Brantner Team. Lynn, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Bill.
What a team, huh?
Absolutely awesome team.
You know all the best people all
I
over
do,
Houston.
don't I?
And you're going to be bringing more.
I am.
Meantime, let's tell people your office is.
My office is the Stewart Title Champions office, and we are located off of 249 and Cypresswood, right next to Lowe's.
And I know people that are listening right now in that area, they want to close with you because you have super escrow officers.
I do. I actually have 5 outstanding escrow officers that can handle any type of real estate transaction. I also have a Spanish-speaking closer, too, so come see us.
With a lot of experience. Let's tell people, Lynn Riddle, if they want to reach out to you, what should they do?
They can call me. My phone number is 346-225-7993, or they can email me at lynn.riddle@stewart.com.
And not only that, all year long, as a Stewart Title Business Development Officer, you have activities, informative, educational, continuing educational things, fun things that happen all the time.
Yes, sir, we do.
And they can call you at?
346-225-7993.
There you go. Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you, Bill.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risk. Here he is. Everybody waits for this segment every week. John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Bill. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Here you are right now. They don't have to wait any longer.
No, we're ready to rock and roll.
It's insurance time.
Well, actually, the content for today's segment came from you, so I wanted to thank you.
Without me even knowing it?
You did know it.
All right.
So you had shared with me a special section that was in the Wall Street Journal on September the 8th around cybersecurity, and
That's right.
there were tons of really good information in there, but the one that really struck me as interesting was the lead article talking about that the biggest cybersecurity risk that's out there is our brain, that we are the biggest cybersecurity risk. And we are the ones, because of that these fraudsters are preying on in order to get the personal information, the data, or the funds that they're stealing from companies. So I wanted to share for some of the findings from that and maybe some things that we can do to minimize those risks.
So let's break it out for people.
Well, they take advantage of our subconscious need to want to process things faster and be more efficient in our decision-making process. So we have biases that we create that in order to help us do that, some good, some bad. But think about it, for example, you get an email from your boss that wants to transfer funds or information to a new address. And you think, well, who's going to fall for this and why would they fall for that? Well, we fall for it. I mean, and the FBI is telling us every day that more and more of us are falling for it. Last year, there were something like almost 800,000 people became victims from a cybercrime. Last year, almost 800,000 people. That's a 69% increase. $4 billion in losses. Then that's what was reported. How do they do it? They blame it on our brain. So what the author's theory was that they blame it on our brains, that they lure smart people and take advantage of that unconscious process that I was talking about, wanting to do things faster, quicker, more efficient. We're all working long hours. We're all working really hard. I mean, our guest today, as well as previous shows, talking about how busy the real estate world is. So we're trying to be fast and efficient. And as a result of that, these fraudsters take advantage of it. These cognitive biases are called lizard brain. And the reason that it's called lizard brain is it comes from the limbic system of your brain, which is kind of the basic system, and that's really the only system a lizard's brain has. So they've called this lizard brain. It causes us to misinterpret information or make snap judgments based on these biases that we have. They'll use a corporate logo that we're familiar with. So, I recognize that, so I can move forward. They'll make it seem something is urgent. We've got to do something now, or we're going to have X happen. They'll hijack personal information from a superior, whether it be through the company or through social media, and make it look like, hey, I work for Bill and I got this email from Bill, so I've got to act on it right now. So those are just some of the things that these fraudsters do to get us up and running so that we'll open a link or transfer information or send funds.
That's unbelievable. In fact, it's just a way of manipulation with things that we know about. We're triggering our responses, but the smart person, you have to stop and think. I'm not sure what the answer is, except that pace ourselves would be my thing, and be wary of all these emails and all these things that ask you to click on links, number one, but also slow down and think about what you're doing and what you're looking at.
Well, that's true. There are 7 biases that the article speaks of, but when they talk about what can we do differently, there's some things from a technological perspective. We talk all the times about having email protocols and email passwords set up, or email password programs set up so the programs change or the passwords change, quite often. That's important. The multi-factor authentication. So you've got to confirm an email or confirm a message twice before you can open it up. So that can help. But the other thing that the author talked about is exactly what you said. Instead of always recognizing or promoting speed, and I got 17 things done today, let's promote accuracy, and let's promote making sure that things are done properly. So that, let's promote that things are being approved and confirmed. So we don't just, I recognize that logo, so I'm going to go ahead and handle it. Or the email came from Bill, and I know Bill. I'm working with Bill, so that's okay. It comes from a company that I think I know, so it comes okay, without finding a way to confirm. Maybe you, instead of responding by email, we always talk about pick up the phone and call from another resource. So those types of things or double check to see, is Bill's name spelled right? Or is Napick spelled correctly? Is Stewart spelled right?
Everybody gets that right. That's a tricky name.
It's a tricky name, but again, it's those types of things that are just a little bit different that we don't recognize because we're in a hurry, or because we have a bias that I recognize Bill, or I recognize that company, or I recognize that logo, so I'm going to go ahead and act.
In fact, there's another one I'll add to that, and for you as the recipient, let's say, of this kind of potential bogus email, you could ask yourself, would the sender, assuming you know the sender, be asking me to do this? I had one of those emails on my company email just the other week. It had that sense of urgency. It said, oh, you have to do this right now. You have to update to the Apple thing on these two different. Guess what? I didn't click on it. So either I did the wrong thing or I'm the smartest guy in the world.
Well, I think you're probably the smartest guy in the world. But we do have those. And, for example, within Stewart, we're fortunate enough to have a great IT department.
Sometimes they try to trick us,
They
too.
They do.
And then if you press the wrong one, they'll come back and say, okay, be careful next time. We got you. That's a smart thing that they're doing, our company.
But they also have set up where we have an indicator on our Outlook that you can click thinking that something is a phishing email, and it sends it to them, and they'll respond back quickly saying, Bill, this looks like it's okay. You can proceed, or they'll say, yes, we were trying to catch you, and you recognize it, or they'll say, this is probably fraudulent, please delete. So they're really good about it. And we're fortunate to have that. Not all companies are, so you have to build in those disciplines within your company to avoid that urgency bias where you want to get things done quickly. You want to do the things that are urgent, make sure those are taken care of right away. That's just a bias that we all have, that, the boss sent me an email saying, hey, I need you to take care of this right now. Did I check to make sure it was really from the boss, or just because it was from the boss, I jumped on it? Stewart Insurance, we help our clients in three ways. We work with property managers, we work with real estate brokers, and we work with independent title and attorney agents. And there are several ways that we can help. From a business development perspective, we can have you be a guest on Real Estate Matters. And working with Bill Napick, we can help you promote your business and then utilize those segments to help grow your business. From an education and content perspective, we offer 3 CE classes for our real estate broker clients that I can help them with. And then also from a risk management perspective, we help our clients with their both personal and business insurance plans.
In fact, going back to that Wall Street Journal article, the part we didn't talk about, didn't you like the way they had the whole schematic of the boss and the different people there? They had it broken down. I thought it was fascinating, a real insight into the cyber criminal.
Well, and that's a reason for folks to continue to listen, because that just might come up in a future show.
John Bramlett, how can people reach you once again?
866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett. And as we close things down, we have, once again, just for a short second or so, Brandi Brantner with the Brantner Team. Brandi, what else you want people to know about what you're doing out there?
Just that we're here for any of their real estate needs. Our team is small but mighty. We were in the top 250 of Texas teams this year for RE/MAX.
Pretty much a giant place.
Yeah.
That is awesome. How can people reach you, Brandi?
My number is 832-726-8041. Or you can email us at listwithbrandi@gmail.com. 832-726-8041.
That's what I thought. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick. Once again, simply go to stewart.com/radio, where you can see and hear this show again. We make a YouTube video of each and every show by topic. It's all there at stewart.com/radio. And thank you again for listening. We'll see you next week.